Hey there, it's Blaine with Seven Sons Farms and GrazeCart. I'm back with another helpful video for marketing tips for other farms that follow what we do. If you're familiar with Seven Sons, we produce pastured foods here in Northeast Indiana, and we're supported by thousands of very loyal, supportive customers who support what we do. And we're very passionate about sharing what we've learned as a farm in the past 15, 20 years of not only building our farm, but also building relationships with customers. One of the most important things you have to get down when you're starting your business and you're connecting with consumers is pricing. You must get your pricing right up front, or else it gets very hard to make adjustments over time. So what I want to cover is the top 5 pricing mistakes that we made and that I see a lot of other farms making as well. So pricing mistake number 1 is starting off with a fear-based mentality when it comes to pricing, because as new farmers, it's hard to have the confidence to charge what we need. The extra effort that we go to produce products with integrity, we have to charge for the extra cost and time involved, or else we're not going to be there for our customers. We'll go out of business, and I think that's one of the worst things that we can do when you have customers supporting you. If you don't price your products correctly and you have a margin and a profit model that doesn't allow you to be sustainable, that's always deflating for a customer to hear that. So try to get your products priced up front and price with confidence. One of the ways that you can have the most confidence is to take the time to really understand the cost involved so that you know where your price needs to be with confidence in order to be sustainable. And just know, a lot of times when we start off as a new business, some of our first customers tend to be friends, neighbors, and family. And a lot of times those are not your ideal customers who truly care about the extra effort that you go to. So please know there's lots of folks out there who care about what you do and are willing to invest and pay the price that you need to be sustainable. Mistake number 2 is what I call match pricing. You know, sometimes as farmers, we're guilty of willing to go out of business before we take the time to understand what our costs are and sit down with a spreadsheet and actually pencil it out. I encourage you, go to that extra effort. You owe it to your customer to be profitable when they exchange money for the food that you produce. Okay, so match pricing is basically kind of a lazy way of pricing, going out and looking at what other people sell the same products for, maybe other farmers, or even going to maybe Amazon and seeing what they sell similar products for. And it's important you understand that every farm has a different cost model. So it's important that you understand your cost and uniquely price your products where you need to be at a price point. So and the worst thing about match pricing is there's probably a lot of other farms that you may try to match their price. And those farms very well could have just started off with match pricing themselves and looking at what the next person was doing. And so you have a situation where the blind is leading the blind. So be intentional about your price. The other pricing mistake that I see, and again, these are all mistakes that we made as a farm starting off as well. The third mistake is what I call lowball pricing. And that's very similar to match pricing. That's just going out and seeing what other similar products sell for, and then just putting your price slightly lower, hoping that you're going to get customers to buy from you. And it's important to understand that we're not, as regenerative farms producing foods with integrity, we're not in the pricing business. We're in the trust business, building trust with consumers. And you're not going to win over people's trust by just having a little bit lower price. I think you will find that price has very little to do with whether or not a customer chooses to buy from you. It's more about the quality and intention that you put into your product and communicating that value to customers. That will have a far greater impact on gaining new customers than just having a lower price. So when you lower your price, again, that puts you in a vulnerable place as a business. You want to be there for your customers. We want to change the food system, so pricing becomes very important. Another common mistake is markup. And what I mean by this is a lot of us, when we're starting off in business, we may not understand the difference between markup and margin. Those are two very different things. For example, if you have a goal to capture 30% of every dollar that you sell, every food dollar, don't make the mistake of just adding up your cost and adding 30% to that, thinking that that's going to create a 30% profit at the end of the day. You'll find if you do the math, a 30% markup does not translate to a 30% profit margin. So to figure your margin, you just have to know, what am I selling my product for? What are my costs? And the difference is your margin. And then divide that by your total revenue, and that's how you get to margin percentage. Very different than markup percentage. So understand that. And the last mistake here is what I call flat pricing. And let me explain this. As a farmer, I'm sure you sell through multiple channels. You may have an on-farm store. You may go to a farmer's market. You may ship food directly to someone's door. All three of those different sales channels, there's customers that want to buy from each of those sales channels. Make sure that you price your products accordingly for each customer who's buying through those different channels, because each one of those channels have very different costs associated to it, and you want to build those costs into the price of your product. Because one of the worst things you can do is, for example, with home delivery, one of the worst things you can do is have a hefty delivery fee that you slap on each order for your customers. That's very inconvenient for your customer to maybe be shopping online, see the prices, and then get to checkout and see a big hefty delivery fee. It's far more convenient if you understand how your customer wants to buy and just price your products for their buying preference to begin with. Now, that gets a little tricky when you're trying to sell products online, and that's why at our farm, we've actually developed our own e-commerce system so that when customers arrive at our website, they just choose the way that they want to buy, and then they get to see the prices that it matches how they want to buy. If they want home delivery versus pickup versus come to the store, because you don't want to charge your customer that drives all the way out to your store, you don't want to charge them the same cost that it takes for home delivery. You want to price accordingly so it's fair for everyone. So if you're interested in learning more about the custom e-commerce software that we built for that very purpose and many other purposes, I encourage you to go to GrazeCart.com. You can actually, as a farm, you can sign up for a free trial of that service and check it out. So I hope this video has been helpful. Feel free to put in the comments below, what is one of the biggest struggles you have when it comes to pricing your products? Is it in confidence? Have you just been kind of going with matching prices from other folks? Do you struggle with flat pricing? Love to hear. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned. We'll be back with another helpful marketing video for our fellow farmers. Take care.